Go ahead, tell us.
Somebody who has a lot of talk and very few cattle back up.
That's right. All lime and salt, no tequila. All hammer and no nail. Krista Jenkins is a fourth generation Nevadan. Her family came from Germany in the mid-1800s, settled in the Carson Valley along the Sierra Nevada mountains. Krista's music brings together the beauty and difficulty of rural life with the universal feelings of love and loss, joy and sadness that we all experience. Krista is a gifted singer and songwriter, and her music is uplifting and thought-provoking. Please, a big welcome for Krista and All Hat, No Cattle.
Wow, that was impressive. Okay. You know what, I gotta start off with something really cute. And Mary Kay, it reminded me when she was talking about, well, is that a cowboy poet or a cowgirl poet? I was in a store here locally, and this lady had just moved in from another state, and she goes, I just love living here. I just love that all the cowboys come in, and they're wandering around in the grocery store, and they've got their spurs on, and I just love it that the cowboy girls wear spurs too. So, we're cowboys, we're cowgirls, and we're cowboy girls. Oh, and we have one cow people.
I am a poor, wayfaring stranger, while traveling through this world of woe. If there's no sickness full of danger in that bright world in which I go, I'm going there. See my mother, she said she'll meet me when I come. I'm only going over to Jordan. I'm only going over home. Dark clouds will gather around me. I know my way is rough and steep. The beauty is real, like just before me. their visions keep. I'm going there to see my father. I'm going there, no more road. I'm only going over to Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm going there to see my mother. She says she'll meet me when I come. I'm only going over to Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm only going over home. Somewhere in the lonely night, I can hear a coyote call, and like a screaming train on the southbound lane, finally hits me without a phone. Wind rushes over my soul, and I'm as weak and frightened as a brand new fool. There's something deep inside my mind that keeps me from leaving this life behind. It's like I'm trying to find my way in this body that's getting away. The only time will tell it's meant to be, and someone else is standing there holding the key. So I'll just sit tight, wait for the light, pray it won't come soon. I need one more minute beneath this old cowboy moon. This old cowboy moon has been hanging around in the midnight sky, shining down like a big bright eye, a countries away from a wounded heart, a friend that'll keep me from falling apart. Just another light and lonely night. Oh, this old cowboy moon. So cowboy moon, the light alone makes me swoon. I guess I'm in love with this old cowboy moon. I'm just a breath away from another day, and in a little while, with a great big smile, I'll be singing to beneath this old cowboy moon. So cowboy moon has been hanging around in the midnight sky, shining down like a big bright eye, a comfort away from a wounded heart, a friend that'll keep you from falling apart, just another light in a lonely night. Hold me, so cowboy moon. Oh, I'm gonna fall asleep beneath this old cowboy moon.
Mandolin, Dale coming in with guitar and other instruments. We're going to do an original about a woman that had to leave her home.
She walks quietly through the sagebrush in the middle of the night, with her little pup coyote and her big horse down blue. She don't even know what time it is, nor does she really care. It's just one foot in front of the other until the sky is clear. She left her life 2 days ago. She's the only one that knows why. The only thing that's pushing her is the teardrops in her eyes. Ooh, the wind is blowing through the gray that's living in her hair, and the dust is drifting down her face, leaving puddles on the ground. She whispers, God, please take me, and she doesn't even care where, as long as it's 1,000 miles away from the place she didn't call home. Her memory of the time gone by still lingers in her soul, but the pain overtakes the beauty there, and now she's living on the road. Ooh, there's nothing to remember now except what she left behind. A pillow stained with heartache and a bedroom filled with fear. She presses up against cold blue just to feel the warmth of his skin, and holds her little coyote pup while she's waiting for better days. She knows they'll be coming soon if God answers all her prayers. Until then, she'll keep looking for a place she can call her own. Ooh, the wind is blowing through the gray that's living in her hair, and the as she moves on down the trail.
So, being fourth generation into Nevada, not only am I proud of this area and the beauty that it has, but it's Nevada's 150th birthday. And I'd say the 150th birthday, but I don't think I could do it justice and pronounce it right. So we'll just call it Happy Birthday, Nevada.
Happy birthday.
That's right, Happy Birthday, Nevada. So we're going to do a song called Nevada Gal, and since we're all Nevada gals. And guys, I'm not going to discriminate anybody.
If you're looking for a woman strong and kind, wise beyond the years with a good frame of mind, a woman that'll ride any good horse, throw a leap on the cow with just the right form. She'll lay a sick foal down with a gentle ease, nurse it back to health just as sweet as you please. A woman that'll blend into the crowd, can't light up the room without being loud. A Nevada gal, a Nevada gal, a Nevada gal, homegrown and raised, a little on the wild side but not too crazy, ready to go out and have some fun. Get back early, there's work to be done. A Nevada gal, a Nevada gal. If you're looking for a woman who can walk a bed, try anything once and not be afraid to fail. A woman that smells as fresh as a rose, looks just as good in her dirty clothes. She'll put gloves on her hands to spring barbed wire, take a quick shower, go sing with the choir, cook a good meal with enough to feed people down and out and those in need. A Nevada gal, a Nevada gal, a Nevada gal, homegrown and raised, a little on the wild side but not too crazy, ready to go out and have some fun. Get back early, there's work to be done. A Nevada gal, a Nevada gal, she's a Nevada gal, I'm a Nevada gal.
He's going to do a little quick instrument change. And we're going to do a song that has to do with every time you open up your door, you should appreciate the beauty no matter where you live. I just happen to live in a in a great spot of Nevada, and I get to look at the Job's Peak Mountains almost every single day, and it doesn't matter if I can't see them, I know they're there. And this song is called Every Time I Open Up My Door.
Morning seems to be the best time of the day. Sunlight on the purple mountains takes my breath away. Gentle breeze blowing down through the pines, blowing gently with flowing wavy lines. Fresh and sparkling drops of dew laying softly against a bed of blue. All of this and so much more waits for me every time I open up my door. The steam of life coming off a newborn calf, watching as he tries to stay, always makes me laugh. Breaking through the ice so a horse can draw a drink. Long winter's day can really make you think. Snow-covered ground on a cold and lonely night. So much depends on luck, but it always turns out right. All of this and so much more waits for me every time I open up my door. I live, never miles away, always willing to give. Working through the hard times makes me strong. At the end of the day, this is where I belong. All of this and so much more waits for me every time I open up my door. All of this and so much more waits for me every time I open up my door. Every time I open up my door.
Thank you very much. We're going to do one more song, and then we're going to turn the stage over to Argento. Warm up those fingers.
Someday I'm gonna trip like fantastic in that open sky, swirl around with the wild winds and remember my days gone by. Someday well, I was a rough and rowdy girl who loved to give my skirt a twirl. Late into that summer night I danced until the morning light. Come in late to do my chores, whole lot of drunk from the night before, stumbling around to find my way, trying to clear my head for the work today. Throw the hay to the hungry cows, hook the mules to the waiting plows, saddle my pony for a morning ride. The way I feel, I hope I stay astride. How long can I keep going on? For my body's too far gone. Gotta keep my feet out of the ground. Soon I'll find myself heaven bound. One of these days I'll find a way. Go out dancing, not have to pay. Come home early, sleep in my bed. Not have to feed with the day can pay. Throw the hay to the hungry cows, hook the mules to the waiting plows, saddle my pony for a morning ride. When I feel, I hope I stay astride. Throw the hay to the hungry cows, hook the mules to the waiting plows, saddle my pony for a morning ride. When I feel, I hope I stay astride. Someday I'm gonna trip like fantastic in that old blue sky, swirl around with the wild winds and remember my days gone by. Someday, someday I delay.
Welcome, please, Tony Argento.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're noon here in Mountain Time. How are we? Good, good. I'm glad you're both here today. Thank you. Tony is the nicest thing they call me. I'm called, some people actually call me Harry. I want to thank Phil Rector, the town manager, the town of Genoa, the committee, the volunteers, the sponsors, the sound people, which is Rick Hayes, who is furnishing all the sound system here, and everybody that makes this work. This is an awesome event, and I'm very humbled to be a part of it. Let's hear it for them. A big round. Come on. A friendly atmosphere indeed. I'm going to do a couple of requests here throughout the course of my duration I'm up here on the stage. And how many of you here have heard cowboy poetry? You see a show of hands, and how many of you haven't? Okay, that's everybody. Good. Good about that. Now this one, how many went to Cowboy Church this morning? Okay. Well, I'm going to throw one at you here. This is by a fellow we called one of our fathers, the founding fathers of cowboy poetry, as you know it today. His name was Bruce Cascadden, born in Pennsylvania, 1878. He died in 1950, and he was a real cowboy too. But most of his writing was done as a bellhop, going up and down the elevators in the Bel Air Hotel. He found out that cowboy in life didn't pay well and was pretty hard on the old body. So he cowboyed in 3 different continents. He was in the First World War, and he actually cowboyed in Europe, Australia, and the North American continent. Now this one he calls Judgment Day, and as you're going to see, I drink a lot of water. I need lots of water up there. You ready? Okay, we're going to have a good time while we're here, right? What? I couldn't hear you. Go ahead, what? Okay, that's what I thought I heard. Thank you. I even have my hearing aids turned out.
Once I dreamt while I was sleeping that the earth had passed away, and the boss of all creation made a work on Judgment Day. There was folks of every color, there was folks of every breed, and they cut them into bunches, according to the race and to the creed. Top-end angels done the cutting. They knowed how to handle things. Some would change and help the others while they'd snow and rest their wings. Then I see a bunch of fellas, they was holding on the side, raising sort of loose and easy, and the angels working wide. He had judged and passed the others by a book of rules he used. Then he called out to the angels, "I'll bring on the buckaroos." Angels bunched and shoved them forward. Oh, some boys were surprised, but not dismayed. Ambling up to face the judgment came that grizzled wild brigade. Each one pulled his hat on tighter that they've done from habit's force. It's a trick of most rough riders when they mount a bucking horse. Some was young and some was older. Some walked with a limping stride. Some still had their high-heel boots on. They was wearing when they died. And they all stood in line to answer for the ways they'd spent their days. And they faced the boss of heaven with a cruel and level gaze. And the boss of all creation, he gave them boys a careful look. And he calls out to the angels,
Bring me off that range law book.
well, I turned and asked the angel why that judgment book was changed. Why they judged that bunch of cowboys by the laws that ruled the range. And he answered very solemn, and that the reason was because you can't never judge a cowboy by another fella's law.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce Cascadi. That's because this is Sunday. I thought I'd throw that in. The fellows who are cowboy poets, he as well as Robert Service, these guys are like heroes to us. We want to emulate their abilities. And they really contribute a lot to this as the work they put out. Now this one, this is a request. I've got a couple of them. This is the one that my granddad used to recite, among many others. And I was, as a young boy, I was so fascinated with this poem in particular. I could picture these characters and what they looked like, what they were doing, where they were. And man, it was easy for me to recite it. I learned it really quick. The teachers were impressed with how this 5-year-old kid could learn a 3-minute poem and say it in front of the class. Gail Gardner was the fellow who wrote this, another fellow we consider to be one of our founding fathers of cowboy poetry today. And he was on his way to the state of Kansas on a coach car called the Santa Fe Limited. On his way to go train in what was called at that time the Air Service before it was called the Air Force. As he looked out his coach car window, he looked and saw what he termed as round-rumped cattle. He pulled out his quill and penned this poem, entitled Tying the Knots in a Devil's Tail, or The Devil's Tail. Syracuse. Ready? Here we go.
Way up high in the Sierra Peaks where the yellow pines grow tall.
Buster Jiggs and Sandy Bob had a roundup camp last fall. They takes the horses in their running irons and,
Oh, hell, maybe a dog or two.
and why they swore they'd brand every long-haired cat that came within their view. Now many a long-eared doggy that didn't hiss up by day
had his long ears whittled and his old hide scorched in the most artistic way.
One fine day, says Sandy Bob, as close as sea goes down,
I'm tired of this cowboyography. And if it allows, I'll go to town.
so they saddles him up and they took off at a lope.
There was none.
You got me going there.
Well, there was no choice of a riper. Them were the days when an old cowpoke could oil up his old insides. So they started out at the Kentucky bar, at the head of Whiskey Row. Then they winds her up at the depot house, some 40 drinks below. Then they sets him up.
They turns him around, and by golly, they goes her the other way. To tell you the honest to goodness truth, you guessed it. Boys got drunk that day. Now, as they were headed back for camp and packing up a pretty good load,
Who should they meet but the devil himself? Prancing down the road.
the devil says,
Why, you cowboy skunks, you'd better hunt your holes, for I've come up through these hell rim rocks to gather up your souls.
says Buster Jiggs,
Why, we're just from town, feeling kind of tight. Hey, you ain't gonna get no cowboy show without some kind of a fight.
so he punched a hole in his old throat open, slings her straight and true.
And he moves the devil around the horns and he digs his valleys too.
Now, Sandy Bob was a reality man, with his rope all coiled up neat, but he shakes it out and he builds him open.
And he ropes the devil's iron feet. Then they stretched him out on the desert ground. And while the irons were getting hot,
When they cropped, then they swallowed Porky's ears, and they burned him up a lot. Hey, here's another one, bud. That one's gonna leave a mark.
then they put him up with a dehorning saw.
Tied knots in his tail for a joke. Then he rode away and left them there, tied up to a black jack coat. Now, you ever go up to the Cedar Peaks and you hear an awful wail?
Yeah!
Well, then you'll notice the devil a bellowing around with the knots tied in his tail. Thank you. Mr. Gale Gardner. I actually did that last year in front of his grandson, Gale Steiger, in Dewey Humboldt Cowboy Festival in Arizona. And he come up to me, he was pretty, I was wondering if he was going to accept that or not, about his grandfather writing that poem. And he was very nice about it and humbled me, so I was very honored, to say the least. When I was a kid, I thought, well, cowboys never die. They really don't. One morning I woke up, a few years back. I look up at the ceiling, and I had this vision, just boom, just like this room. All these old cowboys. Everything they had to do their job. Branding irons, fires, Dutch ovens, 6 guns, horses, whole ball of wax. It was inside.
And it was in a rest home.
So I called it Old Cowboys Rest Home. It was an old cowboys rest home that was thought would never be. But they sure were there, with spurs and chaps and boots upon their feet. Old West, picture perfect. Or Dutch ovens, cooking up their best. With all the fixings of good grub that put hair upon their chest. Good bills is important, to keep them living extra long, and to help them with their cowboy poetry, and to sing their cowboy song.
The aroma of campfire coffee and good old cowboy beans. With cowboy posters on the walls of Tom Mix, John Wayne, Roy, and Gene.
Their scabbard rifles and holstered 6 guns, there for times of need. Them cowboy hats, laying upon their crowns, respectful, as should be. The branded irons in the fire,
waiting to mark the brands.
camp cooks in their Studebaker chucks, cooking for all the hands. patriotic is the cowboy. Of course, we all reckon that's true. Yeah, like Western stars, Gene and Audie Murphy, just the name a few. And like a Charlie Russell Penn. Old cowboys, they'll never die. And looking back, the cowboys past. Their pride and spirit is still alive. Thank you. Here's my other request. This is not mine. I'd like to meet this guy too. His name is Mike Snyder from Canada. And this is called Fur Coat. Anybody heard it? You're going to. There's a couple over there, and they heard it. Okay, good, thank you. Since all her friends have got one, my wife wants one too. Fluffy, full-length fur coat. Just ain't nothing else is gonna do. She said it'd make her look real classy, and my wife be so proud of her. There was just some way I could find to get that fur. Well, now, that got me to thinking. Just how am I gonna swing this kind of deal? Lord knows I can't afford it, and I know it's wrong to steal. But the problem finally resolved itself one Friday afternoon. In fact, it just jumped right out in front of me on Highway 22. Why, that big old German Shepherd. My old pickup truck, he didn't see. Now, he's up in doggy heaven. But his hide belongs to me. Well, after 6 weeks in my workshop, I worked hard most every night. Though it was mostly trial and error, but then I finally got it right. White Nancy wrapped it in that big old box, and I hand-delivered the thing to her. Holy smokes, was she tickled to death when I surprised her with that fur. Now the missus has her fur coat that reaches down to her knees, but doggone it, she's been complaining lately. Closets full of fleas. She don't know dear old Fido's wrapped around her tight, by golly. But you could say she's really putting on the dog when she goes out at night. Well, the missus has been depressed these past few weeks since I backed up over the cat. But I think she'll feel much better when I give her this new fur hat. Thank you. That's Mr. Mike Snyder from Canada, and folks, nobody got hurt in this story. This one I wrote, the exact date is June 3rd, 2012. And I'll tell you the story behind this because that's what makes this poem significant to me. I wrote this poem about my father. And my wife says, hey, I like that poem. Why don't you call mom and dad and see what they think about it? Get them on separate phones and see what their reaction is. So I did. They liked it. Dad says, son, I really like that poem. I said, well, that's about you, Paul. A week later to the day, I'm at the Carson City Rendezvous in Carson City. My mom calls me on the phone. She's just frantic. I can hardly understand what she's saying. He says, your father's had a terrible accident. And he says they're flying him to the trauma center, rodeo grounds, which is by the ranch where they live. And I said, holy cow, okay. So I had to leave. And the story was, my father was leaving off of one ranch. He had just closed the gate, and he was going on to another ranch. And there's a paved road there. And of course, when an animal's shot in the front, they don't have traction on pavement. And he ended up with an encounter with a mountain lion. And it sent that mule ballistic, a big Percheron mule in Moses. My dad held on for his last rodeo ride, and that was it. So the next day, he passed away. He got pretty hard on his back and had trauma to the back of his head. So I recited this the next weekend at his funeral service in front of 700 people, full military, full fire department honors. And it was tremendous, what a great support it was. So here it is, A Cowboy's Wishes. Now when I recite this, I want you to listen to this very closely because there is an ironic twist in relation to what happened to my father in this poem before his incident happened. When I wrote this, like everything else, I like to inflict humor because that's what's good. It gets our minds off of things. and something told me to refrain from that and continue to write this. May your saddle forever be comfy, and your breeches always stay clean. And the Mustang horse that you ride on, ride like a dream. And the Mavericks you look for, be easy to find. And your 44-6 gun, hit its mark every time. And the parts that you work with, you can depend without fail. Fond memories of past friends long gone from that rough, dusty trail. Under the stars from your bedroll, fresh air in the new morning's dew, and hammered thoughts of your sweetheart's smiling face of those pure sunrise blue. And the American flag that you fought for, wave evermore. Soldiers remembered their ultimate sacrifice, war. And your fences always be mended, your wants simple and free. Knowing God keeps his eyes peeled, giving guidance, wherever you be. When your roundup days are done, and you're put in the ground 6 feet below, in a simple pine box, branded, as you requested of ranching friends that you know. And when you're at rest on that final day of your last setting sun, inscribed above you will read, a cowboy's work is never done. Ride on, Cowboy Dad. You're the best. Thank you. You folks enjoying yourselves here? Good. That's what it's all about. This fellow was born in 1870 and he died in 1957. His name was E.A. Brennenstuhl. The E.A. stands for Earl Alonzo. He wrote this poem prior to the turn of the century with what he was seeing as, in his vision, or view, if you like, the demise of the cattle industry and the cattlemen with the growth of industry. He come out with this poem in his book called Trail Dust of a Maverick in 1914, and it's called The Finale of the Puncher. When the last great herd has vanished, the open range is gone, when the cattle have all vanished, their numbers are withdrawn, when the branded days are over, and the roping is all through, then it is we'll sit and wonder, what's a cowpunch going to do? When the cowman comes to sever what connections he had left, and the trail herds pass forever, there ain't a cayuse left. When the old chuck wagon rumbles over the ridges and out of view, and the cook was yelling, "Grub pile!" What's a puncher gonna do? When the squealing bucking bronco becomes an old plow nag, and the saddle and the poncho end up in an old grain bag. When his bits and spurs are rusting, and his gun is useless too, there's no more roundup starting. What's a puncher gonna do? When the last night herd was finished, and has seen his last stampede, and the bunkhouse gang's diminished, and the brand irons, there's no need. When the yo-yo or slicker is put by for store goods new, and his shacks have been discarded, what's a puncher gonna do? When the Wild West ain't no longer, when the plains are seas of grain, the nestries crowding stronger, till the cowman can't remain. When old life is but a vision, to which he must bid adieu, then tell me, oh, my old range partners, what's a puncher gonna do? Mr. E.A. Brennenstuhl, thank you. Now this poem is long. It's about 8 minutes. I was asked to write this. I've only done this a couple times, so you're gonna have to bear with me on it. When we had, a few years ago, we had the IHOP shooting tragedies of the National Guard members in Carson City. Followed thereafter, very closely on timing, with the Reno Air Race tragedy. I was asked to write a poem that has to do with Nevada and the people of Nevada. And I entitled it The Pride and Spirit of Nevada. And I've had 4th, 5th, and 1/6 generation Nevadan come up to me and say, you know, there's things you have in this poem, elements that I was unaware that this state represented. Each state in its own right has its own unique way, but we're all a union. I did this at the governor's inaugural banquet. He wanted to put an event together on an annual basis the Thursday night before the Nevada Day Parade. And this was to benefit, this particular one benefited those victims and their families. And I spent 6 weeks on this poem. I took time off of work, and I finished it a half an hour before I was supposed to be on the stage. I was really cutting it close. I wanted all the elements to be just right in it. And there's a lot more that I could put in there, but I didn't want to make a book out of it. So please forgive me if I don't have all the towns and the names in there. Well, this is called The Pride and Spirit of Nevada, and I hope you like it. The governor really liked it. Nevada, the Spanish word meaning snow-capped. The Paiute tribe, the Shoshone and the Washoe. Wild Mustangs, red, white, and blue. Petroglyph rock from the past. Weave willow baskets at last. Ancient 2,000-year-old reed decoys are few. Kit Carson, Fremont and his mountain howitzer, and Jedediah Smith. Explorers, pioneers, respected among peers. Mountain men who live by their wit. The Applegate Trail, the Peter Lassen Trail in High Rock. There ain't nothing worse than dying of thirst crossing the 40-mile desert or Black Rock. The Pony Express, the Overland Stage, railroads, blacksmiths, scouts, and interpreters, mining camps and saloons, hitching posts and spittoons, and mining entrepreneurs. Dot Salali, Sarah Winnemucca, Snowshoe Thompson, Mark Twain, big names of Nevada's past. They all left their marks with spirited hearts, their legacies unsurpassed. The Miller Lux Land and Cattle Company, the biggest in the West. Wranglers, punchers, ranch hands, cowboying for the brand. Nevada cattle ranching at its best. Nevada emerged during the Battle of the Civil War. President Abraham Lincoln, silver, gold, and mining. The 36th state, Nevada found its silver lining. Battleborn Monday, October 31st, 1864. 1870, Burbank, the Great Train Robbery, the first in the West. Starring Smilin' Jack Davis and his band, Saddlebag Central Pacific's 41 grand. 'Twas Gold Hill's Yellow Jacket Mine's payroll chest. Nevada's oldest and longest running event since 1874. The Nevada State Fair, the best anywhere. Happy memories by the score. The Wild Bunch, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, rode away with $33,000 from a Winnemucca bank. Turn of the century, September 19th. The entire posse outflanked. Garbage, 1916. The last stage robbed in the West. The Silver State's last hanging, Hazen, 1905. The Wild West of Nevada, still alive. The lawmen prevailed with a 10 star on their chest. Another drink here of water. The first national memorial to Abe Lincoln, the Lincoln Highway. The first transcontinental highway. It's the loneliest road in the USA, and it's Old Highway 50 today. Great Basin National Park, Lehman and Lovelock Caves, Pyramids, Sand Mountain, Big Tahoe Drink. 87% public land. See its exquisite beauty, so grand. Great Basin, Humboldt, Carson Sink. The largest national forest in the lower 48. Quakies, junipers, pinyons, bristlecone pine. Cedar Mountain bluebirds, a good luck sign. 40% sage, covers the state. Arid, driest, most mountainous state, with prominent 13,000-foot peaks. 314, filled with wildlife and streams. Its mean average, 5,500 feet. An unlimited outdoor recreational paradise at every sort and kind. Hunting and fishing, skiing and boating, the wild frontier vast Nevada prime. Big antelope, whopper bulls, huge rams, mountain goats, and trophy bucks. A la hunt and cutthroat, a ruby marsh tiger trout, chuckers, huns, sage-hens, and ducks. Nevada's famous for tourism, gambling, and ranching. Farming and mining, ladies of the night, and wrangling. The arts, education, history, and sports, and mega hotel casino resorts, and cowboy poetry gatherings. Rodeos from McDermott to Reno to Vegas, where cowboys give it their best. Bulls and horses to straddle, but right out of the saddle. Stetsons, white knuckles, and vests. Are you with me so far? America's largest all-statehood celebration, the Nevada Day Parade, the Governor's Mansion Tour, the Big Beard Contest, and the Single Jack Competition. Nevada, impressive, attractive, and pure. Sparks Chili and Rib Cook-Off, Hot August Nights, the balloon and air races in Reno. Activities grand, come see them firsthand. Play blackjack, poker, and keno. The Rocky Mountain Oyster Fry, outhouse and camel races, U.S. flag parades, honor our vets. Chili on the Comstock, steam locomotives are hot. Virginia City and Gold Hill is a good bet. Fallon and Nellis Air Force Base, the Thunderbirds, Hawthorne Munitions Depot, Area 51. With mighty military might, the USS Nevada can fight. Battleborn Nevada, #1. The Nevada National Guard, and all military branch members. Nevada, all for our country. Our troops keep us safe and free. Nevada always remembers. Veterans Day, Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, and the 4th of July. Our soldiers in uniform, undaunted, protect us from harm. Thank them, shake their hand, and say hi. Old-fashioned values with a handshake. Helping neighbors and strangers in need. The code of the West, Nevada's the best. In times of tragedy, Nevadans are a big-hearted breed. Offering selfless acts during disaster. Dauntless when dangers call. Nevada benefit fundraisers. Compassionate, hearted to strangers. Confronted with crisis, Nevadans stand tall. Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Mark Twain. Extraordinary qualities define an extraordinary state. All this and more is the pride and spirit of our battle-born, all for our country, sage hen, sagebrush, mining, silver state of Nevada. Welcome to Nevada. Home means Nevada, pronounced Nevada. Happy 150th birthday, Nevada. Happy Nevada Day. Yahoo! Thank you, folks.